Hello, this is Randall with the Philippines Project. And in this video, I'm going to tell you about a situation we had that almost canceled our trip back to the United States from the Philippines. If you follow my channel at all, you probably know some of the past videos were mostly about like health related issues. I had some issues, I thought, with my heart, which ended up I didn't really have any issues, but I had to go through the whole testing process and try to figure out, what I needed to do. So that all cleared up. That was great. That was great news for me. But it was in anticipation of a trip back home to the United States, back home to Missouri. Now, if you notice my setup behind me, this is one I use in Missouri quite a bit. I'm upstairs in one of my apartments, and this is where I do videos when I'm in Missouri. But anyway, this story is actually about a health scare that my wife had right before we left, and we took advantage of our health plan through Pacific Cross. And this is this is not going to be a slam on Pacific Cross, but I would tell you a story about what happened. We were trying to get ready. I wanted to take, as they say in the Philippines, I wanted to avail of my free health coverage, free health checkup that I get once a year. So I did that, and Flora did that. We did that in Iloilo City. So then we took our results, and one of them was a chest X-ray on my wife. We both got one, but anyway, the doctor at the clinic said, take everything to your general practitioner and, just go see her and go over the results, like the lab tests, everything like that. Well, my wife had got sick. I think being out on the island, maybe too much. Anyway, she got a respiratory infection somehow. She was coughing. She stayed in bed for days, and it was kind of going through the family. She'd had a high fever, and I really was kind of concerned about her, and it was kind of scary. When my wife wakes up in the morning and I'm standing there over her bed, we're sleeping in separate rooms because I don't want to get it. That's usually what happens. We both get it. So, and my sister-in-law had this high fever, chest congestion, a lot of strong coughing. It just like hurts your chest after a while, and it just wears you out. And she was really down. Well, I'm standing over her bed checking on her in the morning, about 6 or 7 o'clock, and so she just looked at me and she said, "I think I need to go to the hospital." So I was like, my state of mind at that point was, I mean, I was taking care of her. I'm checking on her every 2 or 3 hours. I'm checking her forehead, checking her temperature, making sure she gets her meds, all this kind of stuff. And things were not getting any better. So when she wakes up and looks at me and says, I think I need to go to the hospital, it's a little bit scary for me because Flora she's my wife. She's my best friend. I've been in love with her, and we've been married over 20 years. But she's my support system too. I mean, not like she does a lot for me, but it's just like without her, what am I going to do? As far as uh, I just don't ever think of her shutting down. She doesn't shut down. She doesn't get sick. So anyway, so we had got the X-rays, and we were going to go to the doctor, and I said, let's just go to the doctor now. Let's get you some antibiotics, and let's get this infection that you've got in your chest taken care of. So we get together, we get ready. I get to grab. We go down into Iloilo City at Medicus, and we've already had our health checkups. We're carrying in all of our information on our vast checkup. We did chest X-rays, we did EKG, we did urine tests, all the tests that you do. And so we went in there, and really she was the one sick. So she sat down in the chair. I went with her because I just always like to be there. And I like to ask questions that maybe my wife might not ask, or she might not quite understand. Anyway, it's just better to have somebody with. She was really sick. She couldn't hear. I mean, she couldn't hardly hear. We were just yelling back and forth, and I don't like that at all. But it was just a fact that her infection got up in her ears. It was really bothering. So I wanted to be there to talk to the doctor because I knew Flora wouldn't hear it anyway. I don't send her anywhere by herself. I just don't. So anyway, we're there. We're sitting there, and the doctor's talking to us, and we go through all the blood stuff, and she writes out prescriptions for like three different antibiotics, different, I mean, we were going to pick up a bunch of prescriptions, and that's pretty common, I find, here in the Philippines. They'll write you, and you'll go through this protocol and hopefully be okay. But we're waiting at the end. So they pull up the chest x-ray, and she looks at it, and she said, "Well, Flora, it looks like you have tuberculosis." I was like, "What? Tuberculosis?" I asked it out. I said, "Do you even still have that?" I'd never even heard of anybody getting it. I was like, "Tuberculosis, for God's sakes. What the heck?" So I'm running all these scenarios in my mind. Is she going to die? What's the prognosis? Is there treatment for it? I didn't know. So I said, "Okay, doctor, you laid something on me here." I said, "Tuberculosis." I said, in the United States, it's virtually gone. Come to find out, it's not. It's not really. It's actually on the rise. I think we have a lot of people coming in from other countries, don't get vaccinations, stuff like that. Probably is the reason. Who knows? But anyway, it's on the rise for whatever reason. So, but in the Philippines, she said, yeah, it's actually pretty common. So I'm thinking tuberculosis. I think of an old man that smoked his whole life and just sitting there wasting away, can't hardly breathe, and then just all of a sudden the heart gives up because it's just not strong enough, to constantly try to get the breath into the body. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh. Well, Flora, she's there. She hears the same thing. I said, well, doctor, is there a treatment for it? I didn't even know. I didn't know. It's not something that we encounter. So I didn't even know. So the doctor said, yeah, it's actually, she said, I know it's not that common in the U.S., but it's pretty common here. Here's what we do. I'm going to send you down to such and such hospital, probably be next week, because Flora's no shape to go anywhere like that, and get a tuberculosis test at this. It's a local hospital. It's a private, but it's kind of public-y hospital, and I didn't really want to go there because I've had bad experience in public hospitals for sure. But having said all that, okay, we went home and we were supposed to check the next week. So Flora finally, she's feeling better. And so she gets on the phone and she talks to the people that are supposed to do the testing in Haro as part of Iloilo City. So I said, well, we're not really got any scheduled testing until the end of September, maybe the end of October. Oh, we're supposed to leave and go back to Missouri on the 28th of August. And this is like, the 19th, 18th, I'm just guessing here. But I'm thinking, man, I'm going to have to cancel. I've already bought plane tickets. I'm going to have to cancel all the hotel rooms, everything. And we're not going to be able to go back home. So anyway, she said, go get your testing when you can get your testing. And then after you'll have to go in every so often for so many weeks and get shots or whatever they do. I don't know what they do. And then after that, every 2 months or every month, you'll have to get a shot. It'll be a lower dose. And then after 6 months, you'll be clear. Well, at least I was glad that, there is a treatment for it and the prognosis is very good. Okay. Well, we get our stuff, we pay the bill, we pay 600 pesos for the office visit, about 11, 12 bucks. We go get all of our prescriptions. It takes probably an hour, hour and a half to get all the way home. And my wife, she sits down at the kitchen table, and I sat there. It's kind of a load, kind of a rough day. And she just looks at me and she goes, "I'm sorry, hon." I said, "What are you sorry for?" "Because I got sick." I'm like, well, people get sick, you know. So she looks at me and she said, "You got to remember, she can't hear very well." So she looks at me and she said, am I going to die? Oh my God, that's like the most pitiful thing, you know, that you can hear as a husband. And like, it's just like, I don't know how helpless she felt. I mean, she just translated that to me. I mean, how helpless she thought from the time she got in there, her tuberculosis, we got home, we're sitting there at the table. She thinks she might be dying over this. And she's already apologized to me for being sick, that she might die. That's tragic. Well, of course, I've already told you it's treatable. So I said, no, honey, no, don't worry about it. This is treatable. And she was like, takes this big gasp of relief, and it's like, no, I know you can't hear very good, but she said she didn't hear anything. And so I told her, I said, no, there's a treatment and blah, blah, blah. I went through the whole thing. We're going to have to cancel all our plane tickets. We're going to have to cancel our hotels and all this stuff because you can't get on a commercial airline with tuberculosis, or you shouldn't. The honest and upright thing to do is not get on a plane and, potentially make, the passengers on the plane sick. I'm not going to do that. I don't care if I lose my whole $3,000 plane ticket, the hotels, whatever. I'm just not going to do that. It's just not the right thing to do. So anyway, we have several days before we have to, get the tickets canceled and everything. And I don't know, a few days went by. She got to feel a lot better. She really was feeling better. And she said, why don't we go get another chest x-ray? I said, well, probably not going to change anything. But yeah, I mean, you can get a chest x-ray anywhere in the Philippines for $15, but somewhere around that neighborhood. So I thought, well, okay, why not? So we were going to go back to the doctor because she was feeling better. And we'd already found out we weren't going to get the testing till the end of September, end of October. I thought, what are we going to sit around here in masks around the house, and she's not going to be able to talk to anybody, and until we get this treatment going. Then after a couple, 3 weeks to a month, then she'll be okay to be around. I'm like, that's just too much. That's too much to endure. So she was looking for a way. Maybe she said, what if they're wrong? Well, I don't know. They're doctors. So, you kind of trust doctors. And this can happen anywhere. I'm not complaining about the Philippines. I mean, chest x-ray is a chest x-ray. They mess them up sometimes. Sometimes, most of the time, though, they're going to get them right. And I wouldn't think you'd diagnose somebody with tuberculosis unless you really knew, exactly that was the case, because that's a pretty heavy diagnosis. So, again, long story short, sorry for the rambling, but we went and had the x-ray, and we went to Medical City this time, which is in Mega World, which is a real nice part of Iloilo City in Mandurriao. And we went to a different place, got her chest x-ray. X-ray says lungs are clear, literally stated. Lungs are very clear, and then whatever else they said. So we felt better about that. But, it's nothing like somebody telling you, well, you don't have tuberculosis, right? I mean, that's the better thing. So anyway, we went from that medical back to Medicus Hospital. This was a couple weeks from the last time. And we went in. She pulled that thing out and showed the lungs are clear. The doctor's like, wow, okay. Well, we still need to be careful and all that. I'm like, yeah, we do. But the lungs are clear. And if your lungs are clear, you don't have tuberculosis. So we're going to still keep an eye on it, but she's been fine. This is the end of September, first day of October, and she has no issues whatsoever. She's downstairs right now on her phone, as usual, making Facebook Reels. Her Facebook Reels I try to put up on her Facebook page, the Philippines Project at Facebook. And so you can see what she does. She's really good at it, and she takes a lot of pictures of our farm and stuff like that. She's doing well. So that was a big scare. We were like 2 days before we actually had to take off. We got the good news, so I hadn't made any phone calls yet. Hadn't contacted the travel insurance, which I buy now because you never know. But anyway, the good news is we got to come home. We're happy here back in Missouri. I'm loving it here. Missing the Philippines. You know, that's the thing. I always thought, man, it'd be cool to have a house in like 2 or 3 different countries. Well, I've gotten in 2, but sometimes it's like hard to pick where you want to spend your time. And I do love the Philippines very much. I'm anxious to get back. We've been here about a month, and I'm sorry for the slow amount of videos. I think I've only put up 1 video since we left August 28th. So I'm very, very overdue, and I apologize for that. I appreciate everybody that watches the channel. I get these updates from YouTube, and 500 people watched last week. I'm grateful for that. That's not a high amount, but you know, that's 500 people. I always like to say, if I'd stick them all in a room, that'd be a lot of people that watched the video, some of the videos last week. And so I appreciate you, everybody that watches the channel. Even a subscriber, Ron, reached out to me, said, "Hey, buddy, is everything okay? You hadn't put out a video in a while," and it's true. He's right about that. And I need to do better on that. But if you want to know a little something about me that kind of keeps me from putting out videos, I have an ability to take something simple and make it really hard on myself. So I can't just put out a video. I got to try to edit it. I got to try to do this, try to do that. And sometimes sometimes I make things too big in my head, and I just don't like to do it then. So anyway, it just leads to procrastination. I apologize to you guys. I know I've got a lot of people that like the content on the channel. Some people see it, they look and never look again. That's okay. But I really appreciate all of you faithful followers of the channel, and there's a lot of you. And some of you have your own YouTube channel. I think about I'm going to get the handle wrong, but Swiss Filipina, she does like YouTube shorts. She does a lot of cooking videos. If you see a comment of her, she comments on a lot of my videos. Check out her channel, and she has really good lighting, really good camera work, and cooks some great food. Mostly it's Filipino, but I'm not going to say she lives in Switzerland. She lives somewhere close there, if that's not it. Beautiful scenery and a really great lady. I do have a guy in Saudi Arabia watches the channel. He doesn't always comment, but I always appreciate it. A lot of you comment almost every video, and I know you're busy. I follow a lot of people, and I don't comment all that much. I just watch. So if you're a watcher, I just appreciate you. If you comment, I love it, appreciate it. Comment down there below, and I'll see you on the next video.